Good morning and welcome to the Digital Weather Desk powered by Century Next Bank. I'm Jared Floyd and happy Tuesday to everyone as we get started on this Tuesday morning. We've got some stuff to talk about, first being the potential for thunderstorms this afternoon. The severe weather threat has increased somewhat. I'm hoping that the newest update from the Storm Prediction Center comes out while we are on this live stream. It is scheduled to release at 8 a.m., but I didn't want to wait all the way until 8 a.m. to start the stream. So hopefully it hops in before we get there. It is frame 10 out of, 15, 16 different graphics that I want to show you this morning. So hopefully by the time we get there, we have an updated look. Check of the radar, and most of the activity that we're seeing this morning is across central Arkansas, with heavier rainfall set to move in from the I-30 corridor from near Hot Springs and northeastward toward Little Rock as we head through the rest of the morning. So if you're traveling northward, be prepared to run into some rain. By the time you get north of Monticello, maybe over towards Star City, the rain could set up soon, although scattered, and then it gets heavier as you move toward Pine Bluff and into Little Rock. But again, most of this is moving off to the east relatively quickly, and none of it's really impacting our area for the time being. Janice, good morning. Thanks so much for joining in. Upper 50s to near 60 degrees to start, so it's still pretty cool out there to start the day, and the dew points are also relatively high in the upper 50s to near 60, so we have enough return flow of moisture to at least support some thunderstorm potential, and those dew points will climb a little bit as we head through the rest of the late morning and early afternoon. Visibility is limited in some locations. We do have some fog out there this morning. Visibility really limited once you get south of I-20 into portions of Wynn, Grant, LaSalle parishes, at least according to what we're seeing here. A lot of this is probably pretty patchy. But if you're out and about this morning, you want to give yourself a little extra time to get where you're going, or at least just be smart in some of those areas where the visibility is dropped. And that also means paying extra attention in school zones if the fog is impacting those areas. Janet, good morning to you in Crosset, and hopefully the fog is not impacting you folks too much there. Winds are fairly light out of the southeast for the time being. Those will pick up today, and the breezy conditions will be kind of a bigger headline in the conversation as we go into the day tomorrow. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised to see sustained winds in the 20 to 25 mile an hour range, with gusts as high as 30 or 35 miles per hour as we go through the day on Wednesday. And here's the culprit driving everything today: mid-level disturbance and its associated surface features. And at the surface, we have an area of low pressure moving eastward, along with the advancing cold front that will swing through the area later today. And it does bring quite the noticeable cool down for the rest of the week as we set up for Wednesday and beyond. Futurecast made possible by Bayou Power Sports, I-20 Frontage Road in Monroe. And if you didn't hear us yesterday, obviously hunting and holiday seasons are upon us, and there is a limited stock of youth side-by-sides and ATVs. So go talk to Mike and the guys now. And as I said yesterday, tell them that Jared sent you. They may ask you to leave. Futurecast shows those storms starting to develop in the western counties and parishes by mid to late afternoon. I wouldn't be surprised to see them an hour or two earlier, by maybe early afternoon. And I think the best chance for any organized storm potential would be at the onset. As these storms develop and kind of initialize to start, I think that has the best opportunity for some of these storms to become severe. As they spread eastward later in the afternoon and evening, they don't really get that organized. In fact, as they dive off to the east and the southeast, a lot of these storms may kind of outrun the front. And with that, it may kind of limit their organization. They're going to need to be kind of in close proximity to the front. Today, there are limited environmental ingredients to help feed strong to severe thunderstorms, but there is some cold air aloft. There's the potential for some hail-producing thunderstorms, and the other severe weather hazards have increased slightly. Wind and tornado threats exist, but they are, again, relatively low, but they are not zero. So that's the most important takeaway there. Most of this swiftly moves off to the east. We're done with the rain in the bulk form by late tonight, but wraparound moisture associated with this surface low means that some patchy drizzle or light rain could be had, especially across Arkansas, southern Arkansas and western Mississippi, with northern Louisiana perhaps seeing some cloud cover as well. And that sets us up for kind of a gloomy, cloudy, drizzly, chilly Wednesday. And it'll be breezy. So, again, be aware of that as we set the stage for the middle part of the week. Rain totals should be relatively pedestrian for most of our area. Maybe a quick quarter to a half inch of rain. Obviously, some storm-driven totals are not out of the question, but most of these storms move east pretty quickly, so they don't really set up in any one particular area for an extended period of time. So a little bit of good news there. Check of the severe weather outlook, and I believe this is still the one from 1 a.m., and it is. So we do not have the refreshed update from the Storm Prediction Center yet. I will swing back around to this graphic as we wrap up, and we should have the new one by then. But the marginal risk has expanded out to include much of northern Louisiana and southern Arkansas. The hail is the primary threat, but again, the wind and tornado threats are not zero. They are low, but they are not zero. David and Jeremy, thanks so much for joining in. So please be mindful of that as we go through the day. If we see a rogue warning for winds or even a rogue tornado warning, I don't want folks to be too caught off guard by that. Of course, you can download the Digital Weather Desk app. It's available for Apple and Android users, and customize those alerts. There's a video on my Facebook page and on a lot of the other social media outlets where you can learn how to customize those alerts for later today. Let's jump over to the Caribbean, and here's a look at Hurricane Melissa. And while this is not a system that's going to impact us here immediately in our area, again, the humanitarian crisis that's likely unfolding across the portions of the Caribbean will be something that that much of the globe is going to have to kind of face over the next week to 2 weeks and then the months following, because this is going to be a storm that really rattles infrastructure for Jamaica, and they're already having power line issues and things like that with the earlier bands of thunderstorms and heavy rain that move through associated with a hurricane. Also seeing the outer bands impacting the western portions of Hispaniola, which is specifically the country of Haiti, and then eastern Cuba also starting to see some impacts. Melissa is now in the top 10 in the Atlantic Basin in terms of pressure, as far as the strongest hurricanes ever recorded in the Atlantic Basin, with the pressure now of 901. And landfall is expected with this storm later today as a Category 5 across the southern Jamaican coastline. Maximum sustained winds now at 175 miles per hour, gusts as high as 190 to maybe even 200 miles per hour within this hurricane. The forecast cone over the next 3 days, again, carries a major hurricane right over the eastern portions of Cuba and then into the southeastern Bahamas before making its way toward Bermuda later this week. And again, this will be a storm that makes a lot of headlines for all the wrong reasons, unfortunately, across portions of the Caribbean islands, Jamaica and then into eastern Cuba, and then eventually into the western Atlantic and into the Bahamas. So, again, just keep those folks in your thoughts as we go through the rest of the day. Mid-70s for highs today. Again, scattered storms possible. Rain chances vary depending on location, but winds will be breezy out of the west. Lows tonight fall to near 50. Again, the storms will end quickly and skies clear rather rapidly, and that sets us up for a cool day on Wednesday. I would not be surprised for some areas to struggle to get out of the 50s, especially with the wraparound cloud cover and the patchy drizzle across much of southern Arkansas. Your trick-or-treat forecast still looks dry. It will be a little on the cool side, especially during the morning hours, where a lot of areas will start in the upper 30s to low 40s. And then don't forget that we are falling back and losing an hour of sleep this weekend as temperatures gradually warm back into the low to mid-70s. So overall, once we get beyond today and tomorrow, which are kind of cloudy, gloomy days, skies kind of open up for us a little bit, and some nice days are ahead. So a little bit of good news there. Wanted to go back to the severe weather threat just to see if we had gotten a refresh look. This is the refresh look from the Storm Prediction Center. So this is an updated look. It just doesn't change anything, and I'm switching over to their website to make sure none of our probabilities changed all that much. No. So overall, the same general forecast is sufficient. Again, hail is our biggest concern. Damaging wind gusts, isolated tornadoes are not completely ruled out. The threat is non-zero, meaning that it is low, but it is not zero. So something to keep an eye on as we go through the rest of your day. Too Long Didn't Read comes out about 9:30 this morning. I'll join you midday as we get ready for the storms to start developing across the area during the early afternoon. And, of course, if anything starts to get out of hand this afternoon, I'll join you with a look at that as well. Of course, your Fish and Game comes out later this evening, and I know there's a lot of outdoor plans, so download the Digital Weather Desk app, it's available on Apple and Android devices. Customize those alerts. Take it with you wherever you go. Of course, if you can't download it for whatever reason, don't want to download it, latest radar and your latest forecast is always available at digitalweatherdesk.com. I will join you later today. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday.